What's up, guys? HTG Brian back with some more LEGO Horizon Adventures. This is the Buried Shadow Level 1, the final battle. That's right, it's story complete after this. This is a long one, though. We have to fight our way through a Corruptor, a Snapmaw, we meet the Deathbringer and have to bring him to death. We also get a gold brick and a trophy called Light My Spire for completing this. But when you guys are ready, let's go ahead and jump. That's right, jump for joy into a quick conversation to let us know what's happening.
This is definitely the place, Silence. We can see the Spire, and from the mess they left behind, looks like the machines got here first.
We still have time. The jungle here is so thick, nature itself has kept them at bay.
How can you be sure? They've destroyed everything. It's so horrible.
But they haven't sent the signal yet. If they had, this devastation would have spread all over the world, and machines would be eating us as we speak.
Well, I vote for us not becoming Snapmaw chump. So let's get moving.
Wait! I don't know what's gonna happen out there, but I'm sure glad you're here with me. This would have been much harder without you, and a lot less fun.
I love you guys.
Oh, come on, group hug.
You're worse than my 26 grandchildren. Oh, all right then.
And this is why I don't come out with you.
Now let's find that big red donut hole and kick the jelly right out of it.
Ah, man, Aaron's getting me hungry with all these food-related references that he keeps dropping. I don't know about you, but I'm good with keeping the jelly in the donut. I like a good jelly-flavored donut, especially those powdered ones with the raspberry. Num, 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 num. All right, anyways, enough talk about food. Let's go ahead and follow the old waypoint marker out and about, where we drop down and following the stud trail, which leads us over to a campfire, which seems pointless at the time, but you can actually use the fire to spread by shooting an arrow across the top and putting it over in the grass and continuing that, or you can just grab this bomb and yeet it at the wall, which will melt that shrubbery down, giving us a build on the ground. Woo to the hoo-hoo-hoo. And although we've reached the end of our storyline, I still don't know what the crap those things are that we're building. Nobody's dropped any comments to let me know, so maybe you guys don't know either. Hey, before following the old gold or copper stud trail, let's drop down and follow the silver studs. That's right, silver studs, silver studs. They actually lead us to a build and a couple of destructible items that can yield us some more studdage. Eventually, we'll tight pants, tight rope it across this little river here and follow the stud trail up and about, where we actually find some treasure. That's right. There is a treasure chest over on the high right side, and of course, they drop some gravity bombs for us too, so we'll pick those up right now as we love us a good gravity bomb. Look at that. Slurp it up, boys. Slurp it up. It leaves a little electrified damage too, so I'm going to go ahead and take out a couple of guys from up here, because why not? At least thin out the numbers a little bit, soften them up, so to speak. Simply wait for the opportunity to drop down and strike. Looks like when that grazer buries his face down, that'd be a perfect time to sneak attack and hit that soft spot. In fact, we also got some little guys coming out of the woodwork here, which we're going to try to take them out first before moving on to our next grazer. Of course, it always helps to hit him with the old fire. And of course, avoid those red circles as best as possible. Now, I get really excited whenever I see a grazer slam his face into the ground, because that's a good time to attack. However, they also do that ground attack that I always mess up. So don't forget, you probably still have some gravity bombs or whatever gadget they left behind out of that treasure up top. Of course, we're going to try to avoid all of these flying ground pounds. Not my favorite thing. And I almost had a hunter's decoy, but unfortunately, I was a little slow. Now, I do have one more gravitational bomb here, and it works pretty good, but not good enough to drop him like it's hot. So I'm going to continue to hit him with the arrows. 250, 250, 250. Hopefully by now you're getting pretty close to the end, which will then signal us with a waypoint marker taking us into another area. So I missed that bomb. I was hoping that I was going to be within the radius, but unfortunately it was just a bit outside. So we're officially on our way to 17 and a half now, but still got a lot of battling to do before we hit that 18. Now we're going to follow the old waypoint marker up and out of here into the next frame, which will, of course, take us to some more battleage. But first, we got some tight pants, tight roping to do to get across this little ledge here and over across the water. Lots of water in this section here, more than we've seen in previous levels. And look at that, we'll drop down and find ourselves a silver chest. That's right, we've got some gravity bombs again. I like those, you know, they've come in handy with multiple guys. You can kind of toss it out in the middle and it'll slurp them together and do damage on both, just like you're about to see right there. And it even took them both down. It took out the corruption point too, so machines defeated with barrel explosions. So that's another one of our community jobs that we will work on here once we complete this. Now, how we're going to go about the next steps, we are not 100% sure. We still have to have our meeting with Doug to get the most optimal route. But regardless, we're going to be taking on roofs and yards, purchasing outfits, doing lots of customization, and of course taking on those Apex Machine Hunting Grounds tasks too. Now, whether or not we will do those live or pre-recorded, that's still yet to be determined. There may be a mix and match of both. We'll have to wait and see. Now, speaking of seeing, you've probably noticed me blasting some arrows over the top of these electric pits, which incur some of that electricity damage to go with it. So you can tell when you've done it right when the enemy actually glows that purple glow. Or in the case of fire, it actually could be red or orange. There's all sorts of different elements. You know you froze him when he's stuck in place too. And of course, that's a great opportunity to hit some of those gold weak points. Now, I'm using the environment as best as I can, but I'm actually botching it pretty good. So we got a couple more of those gravity bombs. So let's go ahead and use them. Bomb, 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 bomb. And we're officially out of those now, and just in time to pick up some elemental drones. These are a little bit different. As soon as you deploy one, it provides you with a blue circle around you. You're going to have to get close enough to the enemy that circle encroaches on his space. That's right, you got to get right in the face. And it should go right after them and do some damage, which is certainly handy. Couple of those arrow repeaters on the ground, you could certainly use those, but we haven't had the best of luck, and as I mentioned in our last video, it seems like we are a little vulnerable when we're using those because you can't jump or drop or move very fast until it's done. So I save those for the most part and just leave them on the ground. All right, follow that waypoint marker out of the area into a new one where we're going to find another stud trail that we can follow, taking out anything in sight, collecting all them good studs. It's back up to 78K, so after making that purchase a couple of videos ago, getting our XP bonus all the way up, we are doing pretty good. Now, we only need one more purchased upgrade to get a trophy, but we've still got lots of things to purchase, so... All right, I unfortunately botched the rock there. As you can see, I froze the bad guy, the corruptor here. But unfortunately, it shot a blast out that knocked that block right back at me. Now, there's a couple of different attacks you got to be aware of. One of them is the swinging arm attack. That one is like my least favorite. It seems to like go further and further every time he does it. I'm sure it doesn't, but... There's also the ground pound attack, which is not very good, but pretty easily avoidable. My least favorite, though, is the arrow attack, because you don't really get an indication of when it's coming. It just sort of happens, and then it continues to happen and chases you with these really quick repeating arrows. So he's kind of got like his own little arrow repeater that he has no problem using, and although it might leave him a little vulnerable, we're too busy running or taking damage from those arrows to really see. Now, scattered around the ground are these blue bombs that actually can freeze the baddies in place. I highly recommend trying to use those to freeze the big guy. Now, you can use that time to go ahead and hit the sweet spots, or you can go after the littler guys, thinning out their numbers. My best advice, though, is to keep your distance from them all and make sure that you know where the health trees are just in case they deplete your meter. It sort of seems like these aerial attacks have a little bit of a weak point in the sense that there is always a spot of safety. And although, you know, you can kind of get hit with some sort of a blast damage or maybe by a little guy and knocked into those red circles, it's pretty easy to avoid those. Now, I got lucky and I got myself a brick separator dropped on the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and try to use that as much as possible, getting close and personal. Now, you probably noticed I was also getting my meter depleted a little bit, so I went and found myself a couple of heal trees. Not a fan of these Watcher orbs that they shoot and heat seek after us, so I definitely recommend trying to take out the Watchers as soon as possible. For all of our sake, I'm hoping that your aim is much better than mine. As you can see, I keep getting perfect opportunities to take out those Watchers, but somehow I zoom an arrow right by him. So hopefully I'll get gooder at that. Speaking of getting gooder, I am depleter and big guy's meter, and I'm feeling pretty good about this battle. Definitely use the environment to take out those big rockets, but also look out for those grazers and other enemies that are going to spawn and try to do damage to you. There's a bunch of these corruption pits scattered around too. I still feel like it's good to take those out, but I don't know if they actually help us with the battle. That's something I have not really determined, and you'd think I'd know that by now, as it's the end of the game. In fact, we're not in the final battle, but this is the final level of the story, and it'll be interesting to see how we move forward. Like, how many levels are we going to have to play after the Apex to get all of our characters leveled up to 20? Aloy's only going to take a few, I would imagine, because we are going to be on the high side of 17, almost to 18 by the end of this level. And that's got to feel good. But speaking of feeling good, let's go ahead and pop that Corruptor's top, and booyakashow, he is down and out, which would seem like the end of the game. But nope, it's a bunch of studs to collect, and then we're going to follow a waypoint marker over to the far right. Oh boy, I got one of those crazy arrow repeater, the stackers. I don't know that I'm a fan of this one. It is much like the arrow repeater you find on the ground, but just a little bit different in this. And I still feel like it's a little bit of an inconvenience. You just don't have the mobility that you normally would with just a single bow. So, all right, eventually we're going to follow our way to the purple marker, which will take us into what is one of the final areas. In fact, we actually run into the snap maw coming up here in a second, but not before going off to the left-hand side and finding a treasure, which we crack open and find ourselves a brick separator, our favorite big bad boy destructor. So hopefully we'll be able to use that on the old Snap Mom and keep it close and personal, and try not to use it on any of the little guys, as there's going to be tons of littles out there. So again, try to focus on the big guy as much as possible, but also thin out the number so you don't have 3, 4, 5 littles shooting at you. Now, when you're ready, slide down the old zip line and pick your poison, as we've got 3 baddies that need irradied. Now, I try to use the environment to my advantage here, but unfortunately it smashes right through that rock and knocks my block off. Now, as you can see, there are multiples attacking me, and I need to get out of here as my meter is getting depleted. So I'm going to take a little run and hightail it over to a heal tree and try to find some environmental stuff that I can hide behind and maybe use it to my advantage and take out a couple of these bad guys. Now, as you might have guessed, as soon as you take these out, more will spawn, so be ready for that. But, of course, you gotta thin out their numbers, as otherwise it'll be too much of a chaotic battle, and you're probably gonna find yourself constantly looking for health trees. And there's only so many of them, so you don't want to use them up early, but certainly know where they are if and when you need. Alright, so we are working our way through the first phase of this battle here. Eventually we'll get through these 2, and well, 3 I guess, because there were 3 of them. Once we get through this phase, it will spawn a bunch of humans. That's right, so we got a bunch of 2-footers we'll need to take down. And shortly after that, we'll find ourselves dealing with the Snap Maw. That's right. So get your juggle on with these humanoids, as you can sort of hit them once and then move on to another guy, and then hit the next guy, move on and come back. And like I said, get your juggle on. Also, get your heals up. As I said, the Snap Maw is here. He doesn't seem quite as big as the last one, but he certainly has the same tactics. Rolling around, dropping bombs. Once you get up close and personal, don't forget to use, that's right, any of your gadgets. Now, we happen to have some brick separators, which do work on the Snap Maw, so definitely look out for that tail. And of course, try to hit those gold sweet spots. If you're having troubles, use the focus to locate them and do them in. All right, Snap Maw down. Now we just need to follow the old waypoint marker up and out of here. Of course, if you're low on the heals, find a heal tree and get those hearts back up. And of course, here we are. We are out of here almost. We got a few destructible items before we run by the old purple triangle rock. Oh, but first, wait, there's more. There's also a silver trail that takes us down and around, which I believe gives us a build. I think oh no, there's a treasure chest down here. That's right. It's treasure, Philip. Ha ha ha. All right, a couple more destructible items. Got to get them all. Got to get them all. All right, once the area is clear, I thought about making this death-defying jump over to that tree, but unfortunately, you can't move the camera. If I would have been able to move the camera, I would have had a little bit more confidence in trying to make that jump or not. So I just went ahead and left it. Back up to the top of the hill, past the old purple arrow, and into a cutscene we go.
We're close. And from the looks of the partially digested rainforest, so are the machines. We must hurry. We cannot allow that creature to activate the Spire.
Oh, it's we, is it? What are you gonna do? Play your music real loud and hope it dances itself to death?
A well-chosen song could indeed prove useful, but we should stick with the weapon we've worked so hard to assemble.
Yeah, about that. Just how are we supposed to shoot Elizabeth's giant arrow? It's not like we have a giant bow.
We can make one. Look at all the stuff we've built so far. There's nothing we can't do if we work together. So let's go save the world already.
Well, here it is. The big climax. The point in our story when all the intricate plot threads and nuanced themes I've woven together are elegantly resolved. Well, there's a big fight, anyway.
You know, you have to give it up to the old Lego group. I mean, in real life, you can pretty much take the Lego sets you buy at the store and build them into anything you can seek creatively. And I think it's awesome that they actually bring that action into this storyline in the sense that we have this giant arrow we need to fire, but we have nothing to fire it from. We don't have a giant bow, but Aloy's like, we can build this. We can build anything. I think that's amazing. I think that's a perfect connection between the storyline of Horizon and the reality of what Lego bricks are. So amazing clap, a round of applause, whatever you want to call it for these guys. As you know, obviously this has been a really fun game. The storyline's been great. It's been a beautiful environment looking all around. Look at all this stuff. However, that piece right there was kind of like the icing on the cake. Right, following the stud trail, we find a couple of treasures. We also find a build and a bunch of destructible items, so make sure you take out anything and everything. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and follow the old waypoint marker through the archway past the old purple arrow into another cutscene.
Worthless humans, you have arrived in time to witness the destruction of all you hold dear.
Wanna bet? You should have learned by now. Us humans are tougher than we look.
The Spire will awaken every machine on the planet. They will eat this world like a fruity toaster tart and leave nothing but cherry crumbs.
Oh yeah? Well, we're not scared of you.
No. My alternate voice filters will soon terrify you into submission. Loading. Wedding DJ.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the bride and groom as they dance the Hokey Pokey!
No, it's too horrible.
Wrong event, Squid Face. This is a funeral. Yours.
You will retract that incorrect statement as you're crushed by my greatest machine, the Deathbringer.
All right, you heard the man. We got to take this Deathbringer down because he is going to end the world as we know it if we don't. And the last thing we want to do is be responsible for all of that, right? I'm not against being in the history books, but I definitely don't want to be documented as the reason that humanity came to an end. All right, so in order to take the Deathbringer down, you have to avoid all of his attacks. They're usually led with some red circles or indications of where the attacks will happen. And then about every 60 or 90 seconds, he'll actually allow you to attack him. So he'll present himself with them gold spots on the feet there. And again, I'm just kind of calling them some high-priced shoes, some Louis Vuitton, some Gucci, something. Each one seems to take 2 shots. Now, if your aim is bad like mine, it's going to prolong this battle, as you only get so long to attack those nice little shoesies. And unfortunately, I missed the fourth one. Sorry, technically I missed the third one, which prevented me from getting the fourth one. But that happens to me a couple of times, which definitely prolongs this battle. So you could see this battle be over as short as like 5 minutes or so if you have better aim than me and maybe connect with those gold spots. But if not, it might end up being a little bit longer. You could find that this takes 10, 20, 30 minutes for you too. Just depends on what you have. Now, these brick separators come in hugely here. As you can see, I dropped about a quarter of his health with a couple of swings of those. Now it's going to respawn and jump back up, and we basically got to repeat this process again, except for he spawned some friends, so we'll take those guys out. And of course, any corruption points certainly would help out as well. Again, I don't think they help us with the depleter of his meter, but I do think they slow us down and maybe hurt us if we run through there, kind of like fire. So speaking of fire, definitely take advantage of these fire pits and try to catch Buddy on fire there, which unfortunately does not work there. Avoiding the red circles and the Watchers. Of course, they've got those purple orbs that are more annoying than anything. But, yeah, you just got to wait for your opportunity to go ahead and see those gold spots. You can see I'm about ready, and Booyaka Shao taking 2 out. Those were single taps. I guess if you pull the bow back with a hard shot, it might take them out in 1. But otherwise, if you do quick shots, it's going to take 2. The goal is, though, to take all 4 of them out, drop them like it's hot, and, of course, hit him while he is down. We're going to respawn this whole sequence again because I missed that 4th shoe. And eventually, he's going to present it again. So once he gets into this spinning fire sequence, that should be a good indication that it's going to come up. And, oh, no, he's got the double arrow or lasers next. I keep calling them arrows, but really they're just double lasers. All right, make sure you're sort of leading on the left or right, depending on where the last pieces are. And you can see I botched that too. I had the sides. So my advice is trying to do like the 2 on the left or the 2 on the right, and then moving on to the other ones. Don't start in the middle and then work your way to the outsides, because that's just going to prolong this battle. So you can see it's not working out very well for me. Now, I know that far right shoe is the one I need, and Booyaka Shao, he is down and out again. Unfortunately, I do not have any special arrows or any more brick separators, so I just got to hit those sweet spots. 350 at a time, though, is not bad, so we'll go ahead and take that. More corruption points have been spawned, and a couple of watchers have dropped in, too, so we'll try to take those guys out. Luckily for me, I got some fire arrows, which are going to do extra damage. Unfortunately, I run right through some fire myself and pick up a little damage too. Watch out for those machine guns, and eventually we should have access to the gold shoes again, which I'm not taking advantage of here. I missed a whole sequence right there. I didn't even get 1. So again, the more you focus on him, the faster this battle will be. But also, not a bad place to be if you're needing some XP. As you can see, each guy we take out, we get, you know, a couple of extra points, and that goes a long ways, knowing we need to get Aloy and 3 other characters up to level 20 still. But again, I missed my opportunity to hit those gold spots, so it's going to go ahead and extend this battle a little bit longer. Now, I got myself a Hunter's Decoy here, and I think I get 1 more in a minute. And I think I dropped 1 out even, but not a lot of luck to be had with those right now, because the only bad guys that are going to really fall for that are the small ones, and they're too easy to take down. So I say save that, although you can't roll it over into the next level or anything else moving forward. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, I guess drop it if you got it, because it won't hurt you. I was hoping that first one would go down with 1 shot, but unfortunately it took 2 for both. Again, I think the charged arrow is the way to go for those. And look at my timing. I am so bad. Like, I'm pre-firing on these watchers, but somehow I am missing every time. But again, we're getting a little XP, I think. I'm not seeing the XP bars pop up, actually. That's kind of weird. So here's my other Hunter's Decoy. I drop 1 on the ground, I do believe, right after I missed that gold shoe again. And, of course, now the watchers should pay attention to that, but unfortunately it gets bombarded by the rockets and taken out before the watchers even show up. No watching for you. All right, we should be getting close to another attack point here where we can go ahead and hit that gold shoe and drop him like he's hot. Oh, I preemptively fired, and it was too early. I swear that never happens. I swear it never happens. All right, eventually we drop him down and hit him while he's hurting. And 350, 350, 350. Oh, I got the charge arrow. Poof, 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 poof. Unfortunately, it wasn't fast enough, and I have to hit those 4 gold points yet again. So because I have another Hunter's Decoy, I drop 1 out, kind of distract these watchers while I take them down. I'm not seeing my XP meter go up at all now that I mention it. That's kind of weird, so I'll have to go back and really pay attention to that, see if I've gained anything. I'm sure once we take out the Destroyer, it'll work. And these arrows, these multiple repeater arrows, they do not work well when trying to take out that gold. So if you happen to have that, I recommend switching over to just your standard bow and using that. I'm not a fan of the repeater. It's cool. It's a fun little function, but like in the time of need, it's definitely not helping out. Single bow for the win. All right, we got 1 more little spin attack here. He should present his shoes again, and if I'm paying attention, I should be able to attack him. 1 down, 2 down, and okay, so we got 1 more sequence that we'll have to defend ourselves on, and then we should be able to take out that gold shoe and drop the Deathbringer down, taking us to a final cutscene, which will eventually lead us back to the All-Mother Tree, where, yeah, But it's pretty cool. The final cutscene is epic. You know, the fact that they talked about building a giant bow to shoot the giant arrow, it all comes to the fruition or plan, and it's pretty cool stuff. All right, we should be getting pretty close to our reveal point here, and I do believe it's the left side shoe that I need. Maybe? Or is it the far right? I don't know. Either way, it's one of the ends. Looks like it's the far right. I'm waiting for it. Come on, high price shoes. Let's see yous. And nope, we got another laser attack. Boy, this is going on and on and on and on and on. Booyakashow, nailed it. Booyakashow, nailed it. He is down. Hit him while he is out. Depleted that meter, and Booyakashow! We defeated the ancient goop monster, a.k.a. the Deathbringer. Collect some studs, pick up the gold brick, ring off that trophy called Come On Baby Light My Spire. That's right, we completed it. Now on to a pretty epic sequence of cutscenes.
We did it!
This is not over. Dingleberries.
Oh,
We can't let it send that signal.
I've got just the thing right here. Ow!
Combine your weapons, just like we practiced. Go, team.
no! Let's go! Ow!
Okay.
There. In there. You're gonna be too late!
Now, hit it!
Just a minute.
Oh, come on!
There you go.
Now!
Wait for it. This one's for you, Rost.
Hey! It's not gonna make it!
Never doubt grandma power.
Told you humans were tougher than we looked.
And so, with the great evil vanquished by Aloy's comically oversized arrow, the army of machines began to break free from its control. The good guys had won, and the restoration of the natural world was magnificent to behold.
I can't believe it. It's really over, isn't it?
Thanks to you, my child. But as one quest ends, another begins. Preparing for the greatest party in the history of Mother's heart.
I can't wait. But first, there's someone I need to say goodbye to. Hello? Elizabeth? I guess you're gone for good. You know, when I met you, I really hoped I'd found my mom. That's dumb, right? You'd be like, what, 1,000 years old?
Put me down, you wingnuts. I am not
We'll
dancing.
see about that.
You can't make me.
Come on, Aloy, don't miss the party!
But it's okay. I have a home now. Family. I sure did want to say, I love you, Mom, to someone. Like my actual mom, not Rost in his frilly apron. But that's never gonna happen. So, bye.
Mom, protocol enacted.
My dear! I love you, Mom, is of course the password. I knew you'd figure it out.
A hidden message.
If you're hearing this, it probably means the world is safe. Hooray! And you've realized we share more than just our good looks. You are a part of me, created from a strand of my hair. Just some amazingly tricky science that lets you create new life. I'll tell you all about it someday.
So, we are related? You really are my mom?
Now, I have 2 questions. 1, would you mind if I called you daughter? And 2, can we have a hollow hug?
I love you, Mom.
Aloy, you gotta see this! Tirsa's dancing!
Now go celebrate! I will be here whenever you need me. And don't you stay out too late, young lady.
Yes, Mom.
Come on!
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
Uh-huh!
Oh, it's good to see Aloy celebrating with her friends. I had a feeling she would. Well, you didn't think I'd agree to narrate this story if it didn't have a happy ending, did you? All that's left to say is goodbye. And thank you for helping us save the world.
Well, there you have it. Story is complete. Check this out. Keep exploring. There are still malfunctioning machines to defeat, challenges to complete, and bricks to collect so you can keep customizing Mother's Heart. So earlier in the last video, we thought maybe we'd unlocked all of the Apex machine hunting grounds. It turns out there was more to be unlocked. And we're getting them all right now. As you can see, we got new stuff for the desert, the jungle, all the above. We got our 23rd gold brick, so we're making pretty good progress towards that 50 piece that we need for a trophy. And of course, we have all sorts of new customizations, decorations, more jobs posted on the community bulletin board, and so much more. That's right, new outfits to put on. So we're going to be looking all sorts of dapper here pretty soon. Soon as we talk to Doug and figure out what the best method is for moving on from here. But hey guys, the journey has been completed. Feels pretty good. I cannot wait to go ahead and get this game 100%, of which basically we're in the home stretch now. So looking forward to those Apex hunting machines and more. Guys, if you haven't already, please check us out on social media over at HappyThumbsGaming.com. We got merchandise over at HTGmerch.com. And as for me, that's going to do it for now. As always, until next time. See ya.